Well, greetings, YouTube Nation. I'm Robert from Game Room Live, and this here is going to be just a little companion video to our Supersonic Let's Play videos. I talked in one of the previous videos about one of the ways I got into Sonic the Hedgehog, and that was through the comic books published by Archie Comics starting back in the mid-90s, early mid-90s. And I thought I would just make this little video as a companion to the Let's Play series and just to show off some cool nostalgic stuff. So why don't we go into the other room here and we'll take a look at the comics. Okay, here we go. Here are the comics. Sorry if the camera is a little shaky, and if I can't show you the insides of the comics much because I'm filming this at my place, and I have absolutely zero equipment here, so I'm basically just filming this on my phone, and of course I need one hand for that. But as you can see, I've got two big old piles here. Pretty much all of the Sonic comics I have collected over the years. Well, not really over the years. I stopped regularly collecting the comics round about issue. What we got here? Number 1. That's not right. Number 2. Why do I get the feeling that some of these are out of order? Well, I can't really maneuver them too well with one hand. But I think I stopped collecting them around about issue the early 60s. And then I only occasionally picked up some new issues. And I think they've actually stopped the particular run of this comic. It's become... They either just, started over from number 1 or it's become a new comic or something. I'm not entirely sure. But this here is the very first issue we ever bought, number 8, as you can see here, sold in March. And this one, also sorry for some of the glare up top here. As I said, zero equipment, so have to rely on the house lights. But yeah, this is a pretty interesting cover. Sonic the Hedgehog leaves the competition in the dust. I go for an angle because then it won't be a glare as much. But as you can see, Sonic's leaving a crowd of superheroes literally in the dust, and they should be pretty familiar. I can see Batman's hand sticking out of there with a batarang, Wolverine in his claws, Captain America and his shield, Spider-Man's hand with some web coming out, and Ghost Rider's skull. And I'm assuming the hand with the gun is probably the Punisher, and the foot probably belongs to Cap, maybe. And I'm assuming the chain also belongs to Ghost Rider. It's kind of a really amusing cover, both because whenever they reprint this these days, they can't actually make it so obvious who those characters are. I think reprints have even eliminated the webbing entirely. But also that the idea that Sonic is leaving the competition in the dust, especially Marvel, with the whole success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Luke Cage, as I'm recording this, Luke Cage has made its debut on Netflix. Daredevil and Jessica Jones are already up there. Iron Fist will be coming soon in just a few days. Doctor Strange will be in theaters. So yeah. Again, I wish I could show you, because actually the cover is not at all attached to this anymore. Let me see if I can at least try. Oh, yeah. Advertisements for the company. Sonic being sucked up by a giant vacuum cleaner. But the cover actually does have something to do with what happens in the comic, because Robotnik builds a bunch of robots based off of comic books to fight Sonic with. Here we have Botman, obvious parody of Batman. So yeah, I'm not going to go through every single issue here because, well, as you can see, that would take ages. They're in order, mostly in order, and you can see, let me see if I can get up close here in one of the staples, not too much. You see that we read these a lot, so they're not really in the greatest of condition, but this issue, I checked the inside cover here and take a look. It says, whoa, there's a shadow. Sonic the Hedgehog number 9, April 1994. And I'm pretty sure that would have been around the end of the first season of the Saturday morning cartoon, Sonic Sat AM, or near the beginning of the second season. So I'm not really sure why in these early issues they were using this other design for Sally here. Because if you've read these comics, they switch over to the new design later on. These are all going to be now in reverse order. I'm pretty sure this issue was some sort of takeoff of King Kong. This was the Sonic Multiverse issue, where a whole bunch of Sonics from alternate universes showed up to help him fight Robotnik. I think this one had something to do with some robotic alien who was going to destroy Mobius or take it over, so Sonic actually had to team up with Robotnik. Here's a special one, the 25th issue, August. That was June, July, February. So this would have been 1995, so already they're kind of out of the Sat AM cartoon and basically just had to go their own way. So I guess that's probably why they started doing adaptions of some of the games. I probably skipped over the issue where it says it features Knuckles. Hang on. Where are you? Oh, yeah, here we are. Issue number 13. There's some glare. This issue from Sega's Sonic the Hedgehog 3. So, yeah. Hang on. Did I give you some vertigo? Anyway, this was a special because, 25 is usually represented by the color of silver, so it's got a silverish cover here. I don't know if they did any special holo covers of this, because I know holographic covers were big in the 90s. But let's see if there are any others. Some of these are in better condition because the older we got, the more able we were to take care of our comics. So here we go. They're now using the Sally design from the cartoon. Wow, that looks disgusting. They also started getting a lot better covers as they went on here. Golly dang, that stupid glare. And this is one of my favorite ones because this was where they did one of their first big events where Sonic is finally captured by Robotnik and is finally roboticized by him, creating, I guess you'd call it the true Mecha Sonic. And the story had to be continued in a special issue. So I don't remember if Mom and Dad bought that for us or if we bought it with our own allowance. The big fight, Mecha Madness, was concluded in the special issue, but the story was actually finished here in issue 40. So it was actually a trilogy of issues, one of which being a special. Didn't we see this caveman guy on a previous cover? And they also had their own characters that they made up for the comic series, like Jeffrey St. John here. For the longest time, I didn't understand how his name was supposed to be pronounced because when I was little, I thought Jeffrey was supposed to be spelled Jeffrey, but this uses the other spelling Geo F-F-R-E-Y. At least I think that's how it's spelled. Or maybe it wasn't Joffrey, was it? I'm pretty sure it was Jeffrey with a G. I'm not going to waste time flipping through it. I am missing a couple of issues here. Like, I've got issue 46. Was that where the whole Endgame thing started? It's got Jeffrey, Sally still there. So I'm going to say that's a no. So it skips over 46 to 49, which is Endgame part 3 of 4. Oh, okay. Then leading to the big gold bordered issue 50, where they finally put an end to the storyline, not necessarily the storyline of the cartoon, but the storyline type from the cartoon. Because this would have been, let's look at the inside here. Oh, no, hang on. What's it say there? Sonic the Hedgehog, September 1997. So this was a long after the Sat AM cartoon had finished now. So anyway, so yeah, this was long after the Saturday morning cartoon had finished. So I guess they just felt that they needed to go their own way and tell their own stories. And it had 50 issues of Sonic versus Robotnik, so it was probably time for something new. Oh, and one thing I didn't mention before is there's a glare. I guess you can't be avoided. I freaking hated Dulcie in the second season of the cartoon. Didn't have much love for her either in the comic. So here's the issue where they're celebrating the victory. This was a pretty interesting cover here with the film noir type black and white cover to it. We'll probably be coming up here pretty soon on where I left off. We're still in the 50s. Oh, hey, Supersonic and Hyper Knuckles. They also first appeared in a special. Let's see. Oh, I remember this issue. This one was really weird. Like two interdimensional beings or beings from the fifth dimension or something. I think they're Mr. Mixospitalik's little brothers or something, messing with Sonic and Tails. So 60, 61, 62, 63, and 64. I think this is where I left off regular collection, issue 64, which would have been published, let's see, November 1998. Part of that was because by early 1997, my family and I had moved down to Florida from where we had been living, and I just got out of the habit of renewing the subscription or going over to the corner grocery store to buy issues. In fact, I think probably by sometime in the mid or late 90s, comic books weren't being sold in places like the corner grocery store anymore, and that's a whole nother tale in and of itself. So I'm just going to switch the camera over to my other hand here. Clear this off. Here's the other pile. Extreme close-up! Whoa! That's another 90s reference. So here's where they tried to do a Knuckles series. Or no, this is the mini series. Yeah, this is the first issue of the regular series. I don't know how long this lasted. I do know it didn't last very long before they canceled it. Here's the very first special issue, which was, when was this released? Let's look at the 1995. It doesn't give a month. Another special. This is the fourth special, which was published in, no date, hang on. Oh, here it is. 1998. So I did pick up some of the specials. Oh, here's the Dark Legion mini-series they did with Knuckles. Number 3, yes, number 3. And number 1. I was pretty good about collecting the mini-series like Dark Legion and Sonic Quest, the Death Egg Saga, which I think was basically an attempt to do the events of both Sonic 2 and 3. So here's the number 2 issue. Here's the Tails, number 2 of the Tails miniseries. I know some people were kind of torqued off by Tails, at least in the cartoon, but he never bothered me particularly. Yeah, here's one of my favorites. Supersonic versus Hyper Knuckles. 48-page special. You can tell I read this relentlessly because the spine is pretty bad. The pages are sticking out there. What do we got here? Oh, a 90s Kit Kat ad. Nice. Let's see, I'll just flip through really quickly. What do we got here? Sally yelling at Sonic as usual. Okay, let's see if I can get the page. First time, Supersonic and Hyper Knuckles are on the page together. There we go. Although I don't know why they had to have him be pink. But, hey, pink shirts are cool, but I don't know. I just don't think pink works for Knuckles. I mean, yeah, he's red, but Sonic is blue and turns gold, so I think it actually would have made more sense for Knuckles to turn green because of the Chaos Emeralds and all that stuff, but whatever. Other issue of Sonic Quest. Was this a regular issue? Yep. Oh, here's what I was talking about earlier. The Mecha Madness special. Pull out here a bit. Yeah, the huge fight between Mecha Sonic and Mecha Knuckles. Another Kit Kat. They sure like to advertise in their Kit Kats. This was one of my favorite all-time specials and my favorite storyline because, everybody likes the theoretical what if the hero were to go bad theory. That's the problem with doing it with one hand. The Princess Sally miniseries. They basically did a miniseries for all the other major characters besides Sonic. Sally, Knuckles, Tails. I think this was also where Jeffrey St. John was introduced as well. As you can see, I was pretty good about collecting the issues at one point. This is interesting. This one does not have its cover. It's got a 90s Twizzlers ad, though. So what is this? This is the first Tails issue. What did I do to the cover? Why would I mutilate the cover like that? Beats the hell out of me. Come on, guys. I'm trying to remember stuff that happened in the 90s. Here we are in late 2016. In a few months, it'll be 20 years. 20 years since my family and I moved down to Florida. Holy crap. The Sonic and Knuckles special. Very nice. The Sonic 3D Blast special. At least I'm assuming. Oh, what a bad venture for Sega that turned out to be. Here's the last... Damn reflection. Here's the last issue of the Knuckles miniseries. The first issue of the regular Knuckles series. I'm going to have to look up online how long this lasted. Ooh, and the Knuckles Chaotix. I think this was 40-page collectors. I think this was the only Sonic game for the 32X or CD combination. Well, Knuckles Chaotix was 32X specifically, I think. Yeah, I think that was the only 32X. Another issue of the Dark Legion. Third issue of the Tails miniseries. The Sonic Live Collector's issue. Where it goes from being a regular comic to a photo comic. Linkara of Channel Awesome fame actually reviewed this at one point. And I gotta say, looking back on it now from an adult point of view, I do kind of have to agree with him that this isn't really that good because, well, You know that old Hollywood saying, never work with children or animals unless they're hypersonic blue hedgehogs. Now, this is one of the newer issues. This is number 91. So let's see, what year was this from? Joy, lack of a date. Okay, here we go. February 2001. So this is where they started changing up the style and trying to probably trying to revitalize the comic in a way, because although I'm sure the release of Sonic Adventure helped, so I think this was where I started trying to make an effort to start collecting the comics again, but I probably didn't like the direction it was going. So this one's kind of interesting. Again, when I was trying to get back with collecting the comics here, and I've heard some details about the story online. Apparently, Sonic and Sally had broken up at one point, and so they introduced this new character, Mina Mongoose, to be his love interest. And yeah, back to school. Wasn't Sonic already like 14 or 15 when the comic started? I don't know. I guess they kind of kept his age intentionally ambiguous, which is probably a good idea because then they could do stuff like this. Put him back in high school, because that's exactly what we want to see out of our Sonic comic. Sonic's amazing adventures in high school. Yeah. So I need to wrap this up because this is getting a lot longer than I intended it to be. Oh, look, hentai. 96, 97. Where's issue 100? Yeah, see, there you go. Drama! And issue 100. One of the interesting things about the Sonic comic is that it was, and might still be, one of the longest running comic series not published by one of the big publishers like Marvel or DC or Dark Horse. Let's see, issue 100 would have been published in, let's see, October 2001. Nice. It's my birthday in October. And of course, they did a special for Sonic Adventure, because Sonic Adventure is one of the best Sonic games ever made. Fight me. This was a weird one, Quantum Leap. I'm pretty sure that's even the Quantum Leap logo itself. It's like just a couple of issues after the 100th issue, they decided to drop the main storyline completely and go into some sort of alternate universe where the Freedom Fighters are superheroes. Yeah, there we go. And then there's a ripoff. They remember when I just a few minutes ago when I did issue 8, and it was a parody of superhero Marvel and DC superheroes, and Image Comics as well. There's actually a Spawn ripoff in there. Oh crap. I don't even know if they finished this. Oh, no, wait, I don't think they did, because it finishes with this ominous Silver Snively parody of Silver Surfer, of course. The Herald of Robolactus. Gee, I wonder what that is a parody of. What is this? Oh, and you can see how times have changed, because now we've got a advertisement for the Game Boy Advance. Oh, nearing the end of the pile here. Here is the last regular issue I have in my little collection, issue number 105. I think I saw some of the other milestone issues, like 150 and 200, in the store, but I guess I never bought them. All right, well, that is my collection of... Let me go around. So I don't have much glare. Now I have shadow. Having no equipment sucks. But yeah, those are my Sonic comics, and that is how one of the ways I got into the Sonic franchise. Oh, and over there are some other comics I had. I'm not going to do these because they're, of course, not pertinent. Like, I've got some issues of the Hamilton Comics Mighty Morphin Power Rangers run in there, some Johnny Quest stuff, and a few other things. But yeah, not pertinent. So, those were my Sonic the Hedgehog comics. Um, and stay tuned for more videos coming in the Supersonic Let's Play series. We're going to have a lot more of those coming this month. We're going to have scary game reviews in October, and we're just going to try and have as much fun as possible. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you were also an aficionado of the Sonic comics or Sonic Sat AM or just Sonic in general, hopefully that gave you a lot of feels. I really can't talk tonight. I hope that gave you a lot of feels. I'm out of here before I make any more of a fool of myself. Night.